Nier Automata is my favorite video game of all time. Nier Replicant isn't that far behind as well, and the reason I love and care and cherish these games so much is because of their plot, storytelling, cast of characters, themes, and messaging. They're in a class all of their own in my opinion, and no game series out there tells a story as well as Nier does in my opinion. But funnily enough, there is a third entry, and it has a bit of a sad ending. No, not in terms of the actual story going on, but in regards to the game itself. See, Nier Reincarnation is a mobile gacha game, and I know some of you out there may want to dry heave when you hear that, I did, and I've dipped my toe into Reincarnation in the past. And I think the strongest aspects of the game are absolutely its world, its overall tone, and the music, which is superb in my opinion. But the video games industry is a cruel and harsh mistress. It has been announced that Reincarnation is ending its service and will be going offline. To my knowledge, I can't say that I'm particularly surprised, as I've never really heard anyone say, oh yeah, I've played this game for a long time, or I haven't really heard much about it having a really sizable core audience of players willing to pay. Because Nier Reincarnation, if you read the tea leaves and you dipped your toe in on occasion, for a while at this point, was extremely generous with a lot of its rewards and new player experience, as if to try and draw an audience when it absolutely needed to draw an audience and just failed to do so, at least to a sizable enough margin. And while gacha games going the way of the dodo is nothing new or particularly noteworthy, it being Nier raises some eyebrows because, well, Reincarnation was canon. And while I don't know the story on the whole, to my knowledge, the lore revelations that we got in Reincarnation are actually pretty damn important and rather significant, and having that no longer be available is a little bit bittersweet in my opinion. I tried a lot to get into Reincarnation as a game, I really did. Despite my reservations of it being a gacha game, the world and story going on was actually captivating, and felt unique in the world of Nier. But the gameplay felt so shallow and repetitive and just uninteresting and unengaging, as the game threw so many power-ups early on to you that you quickly outscaled the content that was relevant for you, and the gameplay, even when you were level appropriate, just kind of boiled down to you waiting for abilities to auto-recharge, and then just pressing some buttons and not really thinking about much. And that's just a gameplay style that doesn't particularly appeal to me, and that was a massive thing that turned me off. I also don't just like to play games on my phone. It's as simple as that. The interface isn't engaging and fun to me. I don't enjoy playing games like that on my phone. I like games on the phone that don't require much attention, or require me to have my earphones in because the music is a big core part of the experience. I even got to a point in the game's story where I was trying to chase down an enemy and it said, hey, the music here is really special, you may want to put your earbuds in. I think the saddest, most bittersweet part to all of this is that Nier Reincarnation, at least whenever I played it, felt like a Nier game first and foremost. While the gameplay experience and being on the phone put me off from it, every time I just looked at the game, it was beautiful and enrapturing and engrossing. It made me want to continue playing it and get past those issues that it just simply couldn't get past. And I can't say that I'm particularly surprised by the game shutting down. The gacha scene is competitive in the best of times, let alone right now. And I think the saddest part is that there's going to be a significant chunk of the story of Nier just lost to time and thrown away, outside of whatever preservation the community can muster in support of this game. And I don't know how particularly important the story for Reincarnation is, but I hear that especially recently, the story got pretty important and significant and interesting. Personally, I would love to see some kind of single-player PC version and console version made simply to retell the story of Reincarnation, but with a more interesting and fun gameplay loop attached to it. Doesn't need to be particularly high effort or anything, just something to preserve that story, you know? And to tell it to players who just don't pay attention to mobile gacha games, because I can't blame anyone for not doing that. No, I guarantee you there's a significant chunk of players out there who have played both Replicant and Automata and love Nier and just haven't even heard of Reincarnation. Or if they have, they just never give it the time of day. Maybe in the long run, the story of Reincarnation won't be the most important, and they can bundle up any revelations or significant lore details that were dropped in Reincarnation throughout the story of another game, and just essentially retell those big plot points. But we don't know. We don't know if there will be a proper Nier 3. And I know some people want to call Reincarnation Nier 3, but it's just not going to be available. And it will always have that stain, that reputation of being a mobile gacha game. It will never be compared equivalently to Automata or Replicant, and I can't blame people for doing that, because I won't. I don't like gacha in the best of circumstances, and I go out of my way to not play a lot of them. Only if they're truly special and the gacha exact elements aren't really all that pervasive. I expect we'll get a Nier 3 at some point, and what it'll be about, I can't tell you. I don't know. Could be an entirely new narrative, it could be some kind of continuation, they could just do the Nier thing where they just cut forward like 4,000 to 5,000 years and go from there. Or they could tell a story more in the past, or some way between Replicant and Automata. They could do whatever. There's a lot of possibilities here, because the story for Nier can go in any direction they want right now. Heck, they have so many endings they can just work off of for Automata. What if they want to pick up that story of, like, Route D from Nier Automata, just for the vibes? Or they want to continue the narrative that was expanded on, extrapolated on, developed in Final Fantasy XIV, because yeah, that raid series exists. What if they want to tell that story and continue it? Of 2B and 9S chasing down the Red Girl throughout various dimensions? What if they want to continue the narrative of Route C, or the ending C, or even E? There's so many paths and possibilities for the future of Nier, and I am hoping that the future of Nier isn't just another mobile gacha game. I am really hoping that is the case, and that this game isn't just shutting down to make room for another one. I want to see a proper RPG return for Nier. I want to see a game in the vein of Replicant and or Automata appear for the franchise again, because I think the game series deserves more than to be relegated to a mobile gacha series. There is no other franchise in all of video games that tells a story like Nier. The storytelling of Nier, in my opinion, is sacrosanct. It is sacred, and is the best of what the industry can offer. It properly utilizes, on far more often an occasion than it doesn't, the aspects and unique characteristics of being a video game to further and develop and flesh out its narrative, its cast of characters, its story, its world, etc. And no other game does it as well as Nier, in my opinion, especially Automata. That's why I put Automata as my favorite video game of all time, because it utilizes the core components of being a video game and wears them unabashedly on the sleeve. It leans into those aspects to tell a better story because it's a video game, not in spite of the fact that it's a video game. And that is something truly special in my opinion. So am I particularly sad that another mobile gacha game is going the way of the dodo? No, not particularly. But what I am really sad about, and kind of bittersweet, is that the narrative will be almost lost to time and not preserved. This is another great little flashpoint in the justification of how important video game preservation truly is. Because there's a lot of people that love Reincarnation for whatever reason, and that's fine. Just because I didn't like something doesn't mean that someone else can't. And it doesn't mean that their enjoyment is invalid because I simply didn't like something. The game touched a lot of people, and the story in the world is really intriguing and interesting, and I want to experience properly as a fully fleshed out Nier game, so that it could be handled better in a gameplay experience and just overall interface than it could on the phone or on a mobile device. But I doubt that will happen. And in all likelihood, the story of and world of Nier Reincarnation will be simply lost to time, preserved only in scattered YouTube videos or, well, let's call them mischievous endeavors by certain people on the internet. We don't know what will happen in the long term, but for a franchise very near and dear to me, seeing a significant chunk of its world and story just be lost to time in all likelihood is pretty sad. Not gonna like cry over it or whatever, but it's just like, maybe there was a better path out there. Maybe they have plans for another Nier game. Possibly. I can't imagine that Square Enix wants to go too long without something Nier related to be out there. I can't imagine that's the case. It's simply too popular of a franchise. Or at least too well known of a commodity. I mean, hell, how many freaking crossovers do we have to have for Nier Automata? It seems like it's in every game nowadays, except for Fortnite, and I'm pretty sure that one's just gonna be a wait and see. God, I'm now remembering the PUBG crossover. But yeah, we'll wait and see. The future of Nier is very mysterious. It's up in the air. We just simply don't know. I want to see another Nier game. I don't know what shape or form it'll take, but I just want to see another proper game for Nier. And maybe if you read between the tea leaves or whatever, you can make an argument that they are preparing for another Nier game by shutting down Reincarnation. Maybe you could make that argument. I'm not sure how sound of an argument that is, but I think you could make that argument at least. and I vaguely remember someone related to Nier. I don't know or remember who it was. I believe they said they had something planned to announce in 2024, early 2024. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, don't quote me on this. So, like, the timing of shutting down Reincarnation in, I believe it's April. Maybe that could line up with some sort of announcement. It's possible, but it's one of those wait and sees. But I think right now it's okay to feel kind of bittersweet about this whole thing. Maybe Nier's brief stint as a mobile gacha game series can now go the way of the dodo and make room for something new, but I thought the world of Reincarnation, and what it was at least trying to do, was pretty cool at least. And with that, I'll call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and help support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.